Hello and welcome. This is just a short video to show some of my track building material. I think it was TuneTrax Racing was asking about what I've built the main part of my track with, or in fact all of my track with. So this is a product called Paylite. As you can see, you can get some nice curves. Even with thin strips, I'm able to add them as a rail here. These are all just hot glued down. And I'm still able to get some decent curves in there, and along the top here as well. You can get those curves to follow along. I find it much easier to work with than something like core flute or poly flute or whatever it is you call it overseas, but I find it like core flute's great if it's just a simple straight track, but if you're wanting to do a nice transition where you're going like from your start gate or from your ramp to a horizontal section, it tends to come down and then go straight. So just trying to give it that really nice transition. So this is just an offcut that I've got. I do a lot of Photoshop and photography work and graphic design, and I get photos printed out onto this stuff. It's quite economical. This was just a painting I was working on, and so like I'll try and get this in here, but you can see like I can bend it a long way and you can force it to stay in that position either by you know, screwing it down to ramps or having a connector between them or something like that. It does get to a point, and I'll just grab one of these. So you can see it will snap, and it definitely bends easier in one direction than the other. So going in one direction, it's incredibly brittle, and we'll just sorry, let me try and get this up to a decent height for you. What can I grab here? Let's just grab some of these. All right. So with one direction, it'll just basically snap, but the other one, in fact here you can see, so here I can bend it. It's relatively flexible, and this is only a small piece, and you can see it will even retain some shape. You can hit it with a heat gun. You've got to be careful because it will melt, but you can heat that with a heat gun and it will actually retain that shape pretty much as well. But if I try going the other way, and obviously this is a shorter side as well, but there we go, it just snapped again. So one way very brittle, but the other way quite flexible. Then in terms of cutting with a knife, so relatively easy to cut. Usually just do a couple of passes, and once that first line's in, the knife follows it really well the next time around, and then there you've got a good clean cut. You can sand it as well if you want. You can trim it with your knife as well. Obviously being careful you're not going to slice yourself, but you know, you can get a nice angled cut here for more shaping. So this is really good for building scenery and things as well. I'm going to start building a lot of my buildings out of it and background scenery and stuff like that. But just thought I'd give you a quick video. Generally it's available in white, is usually the cheapest. Some of them do have a black version as well as standard, which could be good for track. Or if you want to add some cost to it, you could get it UV printed and actually get a road surface or building surface or whatever you wanted and have all that pre-printed on there, and then you're ready to go. Now it is also relatively soft, so like if I score that with my nail, you can just see the indents there. So you do have to be a little bit careful, but you could also use that to your advantage. I haven't decided if I'm going to use it yet or not, but like for your tracks, you could essentially drag a fork down there in one direction to just give you some racing lines, a little bit like a fat track with their raised ridges, just to help give some direction to the vehicles. But yeah, anyway, if you've got any questions about it, just ask them in the comments and I will do what I can to answer them. All right, one other announcement. I have my first competition running this weekend on Sunday, New Zealand time. I am doing the Canyon Overlord, which is a King of the Hill type event, and looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting. It's the first time running a tournament and running a tournament on this track, so it'll be a real testing time for it. Obviously I've done a ton of testing with a range of vehicles here, from muscle cars to fantasy cars to customs to all sorts of stuff, but overall it's worked really well. But this King of the Hill will be a real test for it, so I'm really keen to see how it goes and see which car and which driver comes out on top. So keep an eye out for that this weekend. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.